everybody. This is Jenna.
And I'm Noelle.
And you're listening to More Than Murder, where we delve into everything eerie with a side of true crime.
More Than Murder is not your typical true crime podcast. Join us on a weekly tour through the haunted, the bloody, the creepy, and the nutty on our Freaky Fridays.
Welcome back to More Than Murder.
Welcome back. Sorry about that shaky intro. I was laughing because for some reason I totally brain farted on the intro.
I think that was one of the first times we've redone an intro.
In a while. I don't know, because a couple months ago I was struggling for some reason. You remember?
Yeah,
I was
that's true. I feel like it's more the ending for some reason.
I know, it's always the
intro has been like, okay, we got this down pat. I don't even need my computer open, but today,
sometimes
yes.
There's just a brain fart.
You won't hear that because editing magic.
Yes,
but,
editing.
But yeah. So welcome back. If you are a regular listener to More Than Murder, you will know that Noelle covered the infamous Lizzie Borden case last week,
which involves a hatchet.
Yeah.
And murder.
If you haven't listened yet, make sure to do that after this, of course.
And hauntings.
Well, yeah. So, obviously this week, I'm also covering a gruesome axe murder case.
I mean, why not? We'll just go with the theme.
I mean, it's also true crime and paranormal.
How can we, pass it up?
Yeah,
it's going to be October 1st when this publishes, correct?
Yes, and I know that it will, but I'm calling this Axe Murder Month.
Well,
even
it
though
will be the end of Axe Murder Month because
exactly.
I don't have any other axe murders to cover next.
Me neither. But we're doing 2 in a row. They are kind of around the same time. Lizzie was earlier.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to be like, this should have happened.
I mean,
quite often.
It's like that they just used
axes and hatchets were, and it was something that usually was already at a house. Uh-huh. Everyone owned one.
Chopping wood. Chopping fireplaces.
Chopping broccoli. Where'd that come from? Wasn't that a thing?
I don't know. I've never heard that.
It was something, I think. I don't know. Old. If it was, and you guys know what I'm talking about, writing, because I don't know what I'm talking about. But before we do get into it, I do want to put a quick disclaimer. This episode will contain graphic and explicit content, so listener discretion is always advised.
Sorry, we forgot to put that in until the last minute in the last episode after we talked about the brutal murder.
No, you put it in right before you started talking about it.
I don't know. I think I said something and I was like, I guess I should have mentioned.
Yeah, but it was right before.
Okay.
I think you said that because you didn't say it at the top.
Yeah.
But it was before we got into the bad stuff.
Yes.
So, we're getting into some real gruesome stuff in this case. And, let's hop right in.
Hop on it. It's like, I was for sure you were going to say that.
So, when 2 adults and 6 children are discovered brutally murdered on the morning of June 10th, 1912.
That's a lot of people to axe to death.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
2 adults, 6 kids, 8 people.
8 people.
My God, that's one psychotic rampage.
Yeah. So, when that happened, the small town of Villisca, Iowa, was shocked.
I like that name for some reason.
Villisca. It flies off the tongue. I misspelled it 30,000 times. I had to see, did I add an extra L? Did I not? My font's so tiny, I can't see nothing. Because I don't know, for some reason in my emails and stuff, when I sent you the document, I was typing it, and when I start my word, it starts out at a 12. So it's just it's small to me, so I'm like, oh God.
Yeah,
those L's are blending together.
I'm on Calibri, and I change it to 14, so.
I do after I start typing.
Yeah.
I'll make my, header big, and then everything else after that is at about, I think, a 14.
Yeah.
I'm just a blind baby who needs big.
Especially when you're having to read it off like that. So.
Exactly, and when I'm typing it, my eyes start getting tired, and I just need to be able to see what I'm doing. So, yes, Villisca, Iowa is where this occurred. And it shocked everybody. Why could this, who could have committed this crime, and why would they commit it?
Mm-hmm. Who, what, why, where?
Mm-hmm. All the things.
When?
Water break.
Water break. Have to stay hydrated, folks.
Hashtag. Because I woke up drinking coffee, so now it's oh, my body needs water.
That's how it is. I shut it off earlier, but then we had a test.
But then mine made a noise earlier, too.
It's telling me to restart.
It's early, so it's we don't know what we're doing yet. So it became one of the most notorious murders in Iowa's history. And it even stole the front pages of newspapers from the tragic Titanic sinking, which occurred only a few months prior.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, the Titanic news plastered every single newspaper. It was, the hugest tragedy of that time, probably. So everybody was reading about it. And Villisca actually dethroned it. So,
wow, that's crazy.
Must be pretty big, right?
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah. So this was big news, highly publicized. So let's jump right into what made the case stand out and still fascinates people to this day.
All right, let's do it.
The Moore family lived in a nice two-story home in Villisca, Iowa. And the family consisted of, lots of names here, guys, Josiah, or Joe Moore, age 43, and I will call him Joe. His wife, Sarah Moore, age 39, and their 4 children. Herman Moore, 11, Catherine Moore, 10, Boyd Moore, 7, and Paul Moore, age 5.
Wow, okay.
I did some Googling on the side to see if I could get some background on the family, what Joe did, why they moved, nothing.
Okay.
I could not find anything on their background. I think mostly it's just, unfortunately, at that time, it becomes you were murdered, you're now known for this.
Yeah.
You're not really known for much else. So when
they were probably just normal Joe Schmoes or whatever.
Yeah, and they,
didn't have quite a background.
More of a higher middle class-ish. This was a nice home, 2 stories. They had a large family. So other than that,
what was the time period again?
1912.
1912. That's right.
So
Titanic.
Early 1900s.
Yeah.
Which, and Lizzie was late 1800s?
Well, yes, it took place
when the murder occurred.
1892, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So pretty damn close.
Or 1889, something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I remember 92 was said a lot.
Yeah, I think it was 1892.
Could have been.
Not confused for 1992.
No. Hashtag our birth year.
That's right.
So, anyway, the day and night before the brutal murder was fairly normal for this family. They attended a Children's Day service at their Presbyterian church, and apparently this was, the kids were in it. Sarah kind of ran it, and it was very important to the family.
Okay.
They had all attended, sorry, I just read that. They attended with 2 neighborhood girls, Lena Stillinger, age 12, and sister Ina Stillinger, age 8. Okay. So if you're kind of doing mental math, when I named the Moores, I named 6 people. Mm-hmm. There were 8 people involved. So keep these 2 little girls in mind.
Oh, jeez.
These girls had gotten permission to attend the church service with the Moores, then to have a sleepover directly after. These things kind of go late, so it kind of makes sense. They'll just stay at our house so that we're not, returning them super late at night. According to an article on iowacoldcases.org, the church thing, ran till 9:30.
Okay.
Kind of late.
Yeah.
After the service, the Moores walked the 3 blocks home. 6 children had a nice snack, and then everybody retired to bed. They had no idea what was coming that night.
So there are 6 children, and they're all the children of these people.
No.
2 of them are not.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, they had 4 children themselves.
And then the 2 little girls
are... the Stillingers are sisters, neighborhood sisters, that are just...
friends of the family.
Having a sleepover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I know, I kind of was thinking, I was like, oh my God, this is going to make parents question sleepovers now.
Oh yeah. My parents already had a rule when I was growing up that we had to have visited each other's houses 3 times.
Before a sleepover.
Right, and my parents had to definitely have met and chatted with the parents for a while and kind of known where the hell I was going to be at, really.
Exactly. You have to.
Yeah.
Luckily,
even though people can hide their true colors, but...
as we've talked about. Mm-hmm. When I was real young, I did not like being away from home. Mm-hmm. I would get brave and be like, I'm going to have a sleepover. And it would be we lived in a little, our cul-de-sac, as I called it, and we were all neighborhood friends.
Yeah.
So my first one was, at the diagonal house from mine.
Yeah.
And I freaked out and called my mommy and said, come get me, I want to come home. Mm-hmm. And that went on for years. And
I did that once, too, except I was scared because I swore I heard some creepy noises in my friend's house. And I was really scared. And that was actually right down the road as well. So my mom came and picked me up.
That was always how it was. And
my dad, I think, actually came and got me,
For many years, it was like, I don't want to be here. I'm scared. Come get me. And they knew what was coming. They didn't mind, But they ended up being like, are you really going to stay this time? Yeah, I got this. I mean, that changed. We had sleepovers all the time.
Yep.
A little twin bed.
I know. Couches.
That's how it goes.
And duck.
So to set the scene, the Moores got home. The kids had a nice snack, and then they all retired to bed. Later, around midnight, so this is like June 9th, turning into the 10th. Okay. A stranger entered the home, which had been unlocked, carrying an axe, Joe Moore's axe to be specific, and was about to do some things. Now, it was not uncommon in this small, tight-knit community for people to leave their doors unlocked. It happens around here.
I know.
People do that. Until someone starts killing somebody, and then people are buying locks, and they're locking their door and all those things. So I'm sure that the town kind of changed a little bit after this happened. Yeah. But yes, it was really easy for the killer to get in and to even be quiet about it. So if you think breaking in, you watch the movies of like a home invasion and they grab the bat, like you hear something.
Right.
They knocked something over, they're trying to get up, like the window up, they smashed the glass. This didn't need to happen. So
I wonder if this person knew the family then.
Well,
we'll get there. We'll figure it out.
Will we though?
We'll get
into that too.
Unsolved cases.
Yeah. So once inside, the killer walked up the stairs, went past the bedrooms with the children sleeping inside, and entered Joe and Sarah's room.
Sure. Why wouldn't you take out? You would obviously take out the people who could defend themselves the most first.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
And to set this, it was a 2-story house, and then there's like a little, there's a little like attic space in that house too.
Okay.
And all of the bedrooms are on that second floor. So downstairs is like all living, I believe, and then I think there's a guest room.
Okay.
So that is how it goes. Joe obviously was killed first with an axe blade to the back of the head. Now, Joe was really the only one that was actually hit with the sharp side of the axe.
Oh my.
The killer really tended to bludgeon with that hard other backside of the axe.
Yeah.
Not sure why Joe was, I don't know.
Because he wanted to take the man out first,
Well, you can also think, too, we don't know how sharp that axe was. It could have very well been that, when he did it was kind of hard to get out, and he's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
So he just turned to.
Well, I mean, you could always just, it's a lot easier than.
It is, but then again, it's not, because you still have to get through the spine. There's still areas where it could get stuck. If it's a fucking dull-ass blade, been cutting trees for 10 years.
You guys didn't hear what I said, because I was just making motions. Because it's weird to say. He could have just chopped their heads off. I feel like it would have been, way easier than shoving it in their skull. But, Jenna said,
yeah.
I mean, you have to go through the spine. You still gotta get through things. But still, this is way different.
And I'm just speculating, too. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I don't know why he, used the blade first and then changed. But that kind of works out in my head. Now, the next person is obviously Sarah. Sure. She's laying next to Joe, still asleep.
She obviously didn't hear anything, because if he got him in the back of the head, then that means he was laying on his stomach and had no time to cry out or anything. So.
And that's what's weird about this case. We'll get into it. So he bludgeoned her with the blunt side of the axe, basically just smashed her skull.
Good God.
And then he left the room. So we're not sure, if at this point Joe and Sarah are dead, or if they're just laying there kind of suffering at this point. Joe, got a blade to the head, so it might have.
You can stay alive for a little while the brain is.
Exactly.
Fucked up.
So he just kind of left them, unsure if they were dead or alive. He entered the room where the 4 more kids were sleeping.
Only 4 of them.
There were only 4 more kids. Yes. The other 2. Oh my God.
I am so lost.
Why? Okay, the Moore family, which I named out,
Yes,
has
right.
6 members.
Right, and the 4 children were their own kids.
Yes.
So the 2 little girls didn't stay the night.
Listen, I'm getting to them. I said there was a guest bedroom downstairs.
Yes, okay, so these little girls were not staying in the same room. That's weird. Okay.
Well, the rooms were kind of small, too. I think they had 3 rooms. There were 2 kids to each room.
Okay.
And then they had an extra bedroom downstairs for guests.
Okay.
So that's just where...
But you just said he entered the next room where 4 kids were sleeping.
Well, the rooms where the 4 kids were sleeping. So I think they were grouped into 2 different rooms.
All right.
So once he entered, he struck them with the axe as well. Now, if you would have let me get there,
I always have questions. I'm the same way as you during these types of movies and cases. I always have to try to find out what the fuck is going on.
Dude, always. Now, the Stillinger children, who had been downstairs sleeping, apparently did not hear a sound. There were no screams, nothing to alert them to an intruder.
And so far, he's only gotten to 2 children. Or he's already done all 4. Okay.
Basically, yes.
He's gone through the top floor of the house.
Yes, and everyone is dead. Well, that we think.
Right, we're speculating.
Okay, they have been hit by the axe.
You would assume.
Which this is the weird part about it. You would think that even sleeping in the same room, someone's going to hear a noise and stir.
I mean, the sound of a blunt object coming down on somebody makes noise.
If you're using the blade part, I feel like that makes less noise.
Yeah, right.
But he's literally...
Bang, bang,
exactly.
Bang. Like, and it's not... Yeah, they're on a bed, which is soft, but the person themselves have bones.
And you have to think about old beds.
Yeah,
super
creaky as hell.
Old.
Well, and creaky floors, too.
Irony, yeah.
Like, this guy seems like he probably would have been... I'm picturing a big person for some reason.
Well...
I mean...
We'll get into that.
You know, I don't know. I'm just... You know, I feel like... Either way, this person would be squeaking across the floor because that's just how it is.
Old stairs.
Yeah. There's not much carpet. It was all hardwood.
Exactly.
They were, you know, like
that I know of.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure. I'm not
1912 maybe, but if we were back in the 1800s,
but no, I think it was probably all wooden floor at that time.
Yeah,
especially
carpets. Really, I feel like came around later. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'll have to look it up.
50s, maybe a little bit earlier, and then the 70s,
maybe even
like
20s when people started getting rich and everything with like stock.
Yeah,
and then,
it could have been, and it could have even been like cheap carpet. But either way, with the carpet on top of that, the floor can still creak underneath.
Oh, I know.
We have a weird spot in our house.
If your floorboards are broken or anything.
Yeah. And before we got the vinyl and took the carpet out, and still now, obviously, but under the carpet, it would just, you could hear that creak. I knew when Sean was coming to bed. I knew when he got out of bed. And all of that. So there had to have been a sound. I am not a light sleeper. I am a very heavy sleeper. Through sirens, through anything, I'm pretty much sleeping through it. So maybe that's the case, but it's strange how nobody woke up when this man was going through the house murdering.
I mean, that's a lot of people to make noise on and nobody
Exactly. So the Stillinger girls did not hear anything, and that is so unfortunate because the killer headed back down the stairs and lastly killed Ina and Lena Stillinger.
Oh, my God.
Now, with 8 dead, the killer is not done yet. What could he possibly do?
Oh, the animals? Was it animals?
No. He made his way back upstairs and continued the brutality.
What?
He further bludgeoned Joe, Sarah, and their 6 children repeatedly.
He just kept going around?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah. It said that Joe in particular had been struck over 30 times with the blunt side of the axe. So he's literally just smashing their heads to smithereens, basically. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So if they weren't dead, they definitely are now. But if they were dead, what is the point? It's overkill. It's
so overkill. My God.
Like,
that's a true psycho who's just psychotic, like having an episode or something.
Very, very harsh.
That's crazy.
It gets weirder too. He used bed sheets and other various items of clothing to cover just the heads of the upstairs victims. Yeah, so he's just like their dressing gowns, sheets, any clothes, and he just takes it and he covers the head that he basically just smashed.
Ugh, good God.
Yeah. After he does this, he retreats downstairs, and he does the same to the Stillinger girls. He bludgeons them further, then covers them as well.
It just seems so very personal.
Exactly.
So personal.
It's so strange. But it's also, why the Stillinger girls?
Well, yeah, I mean, it just was anybody in the house, really. Anybody, if they weren't in the house, he wouldn't have gone after them.
Exactly. But why would they be as personal as the people upstairs? Because it would seem like the Moores would be the ones that... And the Stillinger girls were just kind of, wrong place, wrong time type of thing, but...
Maybe it was one of the Stillinger's parents.
My lord, Trinity.
We got a cat playing with a pen on the floor.
The cat... We started these out with absolutely no animals in the room, but the cat has found her way in every single recording now. So, deal with it.
So I guess carpets started being created in the 1700s. Which kind of makes sense because kings and queens and they might have like a throw carpet. It probably wasn't wall to wall.
No, I'm sure carpets existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did read that 1950s, after World War II, there was a huge housing boom and they started getting carpets or like wall to wall around then. So we had the right feeling there because they did exist, but they weren't like, you weren't going to find wall-to-wall carpets.
No, because
homes.
a lot
of
people
like a throw rug or a knitted carpet. Or
they were building their own homes.
Yeah.
Just setting up the wooden flat flooring and then probably covering it up with a little something.
Mm-hmm. So if you were wealthy, you might have, a runner up the stairs or, a hallway carpet or something. But I don't know.
Because also I feel like the really wealthy, their floors were also not carpeted, but they used really nice flooring materials.
Yeah.
They'd have the pretty tiles and marbles and...
Or just super nice polished hardwood.
Yep. So... After this, the victims were pretty much unrecognizable.
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw what Andrew and Abby...
It's just 19 and 11.
Yeah.
This is over... Joe had over 30.
Yeah. And this was using the axe part,
the blunt,
like the blade part in Lizzie's, but in this case, it's the blunt. So I can assume that it was awful looking.
The killer also hung around after the murders.
Okay.
He strangely took clothes and cloths, bed dressings, sheets, anything, that he could find, and he covered all the mirrors in the home.
Weird.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's just a weird,
What was he, Dorian Gray?
Right?
No, that's
that was just a painting.
Yeah, I know.
But...
I know that mirrors were superstitious for sure.
Well, that's the thing is, in a lot of the articles I read, it said ritualistically covering the mirrors, and that's a specific word to use, and it stood out to me as I wonder if it was like a supernatural type of thing, because why else would you do that? Maybe it had something to do with the souls. Maybe he didn't want the mirrors capturing the souls of the dead.
Something. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'll have to dig deeper into mirror lore. I know a little bit about it, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, because
I know that they're portals. I know that a lot of things, but not everything.
No. So that could be why, but that's what he did. He also rummaged through the icebox.
He probably didn't want to look at his own face. He probably knows he's a psycho.
Well, it was also, they said... as well, any reflective surface. So if you had anything like a tea kettle or anything reflected, he probably covered that too. And that very well probably was, because he was walking around the house, he was hanging out, making himself at home, and didn't want to see himself. Probably covered in motherfucking blood,
probably. Too. He didn't wash it off. Oh, no way.
Well, we'll get into that.
Oh, God.
So he rummaged through the icebox. He even made himself some food, but he didn't eat it. When they discovered it, they found, a bowl full of food. He brought out, this pound slab of bacon, and that was just chilling in the house somewhere. It was a very odd scene.
This person is psycho. Like I said, they've got... This person is not right in the head right now.
Something very wrong.
Yeah.
Now, upon discovering the scene, they also found a bowl full of bloody water.
Because he was trying to clean...
Yeah, so they believe that he, filled this bowl with water, and then he kind of, washed up a little bit. Maybe his hands, maybe his face, little things like that. He's not going to clean up the house, because...
And then he just left the bloody water there, which is just...
He left the bloody water,
what's the point in even cleaning anyway? Cleaning your face, Well,
because you got to get out of the house, so,
Yeah, but he's going to get caught either way. Maybe not.
Well, we'll get into that.
Oh, Lord.
It's believed that the killer left the residence around 5 a.m. and locking the home behind him.
Wow, so he was there for about 5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And this is June, so the sun is peaking up, I think, around that time.
I don't know what daylight savings time was then, so...
Hopefully the
if
same.
it existed. I don't know when
it's
daylight savings time started. I feel like it didn't start until later. It was like a Bush era thing. I'm pretty sure George the Senior started daylight savings time.
Maybe, I don't know, but who knows?
Yeah.
It may have been light by that time,
yeah.
but it might have been dark. So maybe that's more of a reason why he felt he needed to clean himself up. She's pulling out her phone. She's going to Google it.
I gotta know now.
I know. I have no idea. I know that there are 2 states or something that don't, or no, there's 2 places that don't observe daylight savings time. I think one of them is like Alaska. I want to know. I'm not even going on with the story until I know.
I know that...
Ancient Egypt, it's going to say.
Okay, so I was kind of right-ish. It started way back before, actually. It was Roosevelt that started it in, like, 1918.
Oh, damn!
Well, it started even farther back in New Zealand, actually, according to history. But we didn't start using it until then. But then presidents and everything kept changing, and whether they would use it or not, and what time it started and everything. And then 2007, the start and end of daylight savings time shifted again, which is why I remember George Bush, because he was president before Obama. And so that's why I was thinking he was the one that started it again.
I do not remember that at all.
From 1987 to 2006, daylight savings time started the first weekend. Yeah, so it's just been changing. They just keep changing it all the time.
Of course they do. Of course, because it's a sham.
Yeah.
Like, let's get more daylight. Let's get dark at 5 p.m.
Well, it's so the farmers have more time.
I know. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it.
Well, then it made sense. They didn't have these tractors that have these giant beaming lights.
Yeah.
Now they've got beams.
Cricked my neck.
Oh, no, that's going to be sore the rest of the day.
It was like stiff. The back way, too.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we're closing on 30 soon, so.
Oh, yeah. Body's falling apart, guys.
Yeah, started at 25.
Oh, God. So, yeah. It was not daylight savings time then, so it was probably dark at 5 a.m. or like when he was leaving. And the cat's meowing again. That's great. You're just going to have to hear it because I'm doing this and I can't let her in.
Yeah.
So.
That's fine. Keep going.
In the early morning hours of June 10th, 1912, so that is the morning
of the Titanic.
The murders. No.
1912.
That's not the day, though.
Well, no, it was. That's true.
It was in April.
It was reported that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in April of 1912. So, neighbor Mary Peckham noticed that the Moore home seemed less lively as usual. 4 kids, 2 parents, probably pretty raucous household.
Yeah.
Especially like in those times you get up early, you have your chores that you gotta do, you got things you gotta do.
And it sounds like they might have had friends over quite often, so there might even be extra kids that you see running in and out of the house, coming over.
I didn't read about pets, but maybe they did have farm. Who fuck knows? Yeah. So she got a little worried.
Well, that's a good neighbor.
That. I know. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
She went over, received no answer, and she noticed that the door was locked, and she's like, all right, I gotta call somebody.
She notices the door's locked, and she's like, there's an issue here.
Yeah!
It's so funny. Usually nowadays, it's like the door was unlocked and already open, so they're like, what the hell? Who's been here?
I know, but when she couldn't just walk in the morning and have coffee with Mrs. Moore, you know we're having an issue.
Oh my gosh, I'm hysterical.
I'm hysterical.
It's so opposite.
So she calls Ross, who is Joe's brother.
I was gonna say Monica's brother. Yes.
Yeah, him. One and the same. He's a fun
that Geller guy.
So Ross apparently had like a spare key to the home. I don't know why, but he did. They're family. Yeah. I could see my sister having a spare key to my home.
My parents know where my spare key is located for my house.
Well, I know where your spare key is.
Yeah. my close people know.
Yeah. So Ross arrived. He immediately went into the home, but immediately ran out in a panic after he saw all of the blood.
I would assume it's not just in the bedrooms. It's got to be dripping. There's got to be blood dripping off of him, off of the murder weapon that he's walking around with.
Well, that's the thing I don't think he saw the complete scope I don't think he found the bodies.
No, because they were in the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Saw it being a disaster, saw blood drippage places, and he was like...
The bowl of bloody water, just weird-ass fucking...
WTAF.
What the actual fuck? Okay.
Yes.
I had to spell it out in my head. So they quickly called the local marshal, Hank Horton. Who
Here's a who.
Yeah, right?
Hank Horton, here's a who.
So Hank came to investigate. Horton was the one who actually went in and searched the home fully, and he found just a horrific scene. When he came back out, according to IowaColdCases.org, he had stated that there was, quote, somebody murdered in every bed, end quote. Mm-hmm. Imagine.
Yeah, I already knew that, but still, just so fucked up.
It's so fucked up. Why?
Oh my God.
Why? Why was
just
it...
bludgeoning is just... The overkill is what is really... I mean, yes, the whole thing is shocking. But, I mean, just the overkill. And then him lingering. Like, what is this person? Where the fuck did they come from?
I know.
Ugh. Jeez.
The axe was found rather quickly. The killer apparently cleaned it partially and then just set it up against a wall near the room where the Stillinger girls were sleeping.
Yeah, the dude was nuts.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
He probably wiped it down a little bit and then just kind of set it there.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. From the start, the investigation into the murders was a complete mess.
Which, I'm sorry, when is it not?
When is it not?
When don't they drop the ball in these types of cases? You guys, we say it in every single episode. If you are a loyal listener, you would know every murder episode.
I know.
The law enforcement drops the motherfucking ball.
Well, just wait, because it has to do with the crime scene.
Oh, great. They fucked with the crime scene, you idiots.
The crime scene was never, secured.
Oh, my God. People were just walking in and out, tramping on everything.
Anyone could go in. Investigators, local church members, and neighbors of the Moores. 100 people from this, neighborhood just, walked up into this murder scene.
And this is not in the 1800s, you guys. I know that 1912 is a long time ago, but still, they're not that fucking dumb.
You gotta secure the motherfucking crime scene!
I know. The fact that we know this, and they don't know this.
I know. I mean...
The same thing happened, too, when Madeline McCann went missing with her parents on vacation.
Yes.
And people were just coming in and out of that room all day. So they couldn't find any specific footprints and blah, 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 you know,
Yeah. This obviously created a clusterfuck and most likely destroyed a lot of evidence. I mean, you have footprints that you can't discern.
Fingerprints.
Is this the killers? Is this Mary Jo from down the street? Who the fuck knows?
There's tears places. There's DNA from people everywhere.
Everywhere. I guess I don't remember which website. Please don't kill me. It was, oh God. It was either IowaColdCases.com or the Smithsonian one that I used.
Either one, you covered either, so.
Yes, and those are
credited no matter
really what. The two that I used. I credited Wikipedia, but I didn't really use it.
Yeah.
I guess, someone even apparently took, a fragment of skull from Joe.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because people have been crazy all forever. They have been macabre and collectors of the weird.
Yeah, but duh.
I know.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
Let's take a piece of the victim.
I know.
Before the crime scene has even been motherfucking processed.
Yep.
Oh my God. I can't get over the stupidity of people. I really can't, and it still is to this day. I cannot.
No, I agree.
It's just mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
Just the fact that they botched the fuck out of this.
The audacity of people and, law enforcement. And It just...
Mm-hmm. So, on top of the crime scene being a complete mess, investigators had 0 leads into suspects. It would have been very easy for the killer to basically hop on a train and get out of town.
Yeah.
Trains were coming in and out of Villisca a lot.
I mean, especially being in Iowa.
Morning, noon, and night. In and out, in and out, in and out. So, oh God. What does it in and out, in and out, in and out?
I didn't even think of that as dirty, so
all right,
you are in a different spot. I'm surprised.
I was like, please don't. Yeah, so they had no leads. Bloodhounds had, like, even been used. They came in, tried to sniff things out, but nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. I know. Which, in my brain, I feel like that does help with the killer's probably not in this town anymore, right now. Because...
Either that or they just couldn't get a scent on him because
there's so many fucking scents in the house. Yeah, that hit me after. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
And even if there was traces of blood somewhere, it wouldn't even have been his.
No.
So they wouldn't have been able to, like, trace him home or whatever because...
Because I never read anywhere about an injury or finding blood from another, you know...
No one fought back.
Well, it's 1912, too. Blood analysis isn't even probably a thing. They're not.
Well, they just started DNA. Remember, in Lizzie Borden, they had just started DNA, and that's why they still didn't get any prints off it, because it was just starting. So maybe, hopefully, within that next 20 years...
It was probably to the point where it was like, okay, this blood matches this person.
Yeah.
It's O negative.
They had records.
He's O negative. Exactly. Yeah. They might not have even had records.
I mean, you can't even match yet.
They're fucked.
Yeah.
They're motherfucking fucked.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, the word ends up getting around, and some suspects are called into question once people are like, okay, this guy's kind of suspicious, this guy was kind of suspicious, so...
And just so you guys know, fingerprint analysis is awesome, because, let's face it, many people, especially in the U.S., have been fingerprinted now. They've been in trouble of some sort, so it is good to run the prints.
I've been fingerprinted.
But not everybody has. So, yes, fingerprints are great, but you can only match them if you have those person's fingerprints in the system.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, or else they're just fingerprints.
Yeah, so, and they all look, I mean, you really
they're all
have
unique,
to look.
But they're all different. But yeah, I mean, it takes an expert to know. To be able to differentiate.
You gotta blow that shit up big, and you gotta be looking at every swoop and swirl.
I mean, they have programs for that, but
which is nice, but back in the day, like you think about Richard Ramirez, they had to probably, well, they might have had CODIS at that time, but
they
earlier
had to
than that,
match pictures with what
yes,
was in
they had to literally look
file.
at the fingerprint, look at the one that you have in front of you that's just like an ink blot, and you have to literally
trace
match
it out,
them.
make sure that,
yeah, fuck that.
No wonder why they took so long.
We have this fingerprint. It's going to take 7 years. So anyway, we're going to get into those suspects now.
Okay. I was wondering if they were going to have any... How did they even come up with any suspects?
Splash, splash. So...
I mean, how in the world?
Because everyone was fucking talking. There were rumors about. Everyone was talking. It's highly publicized. It's fucking running around the rumor mill.
And then you have the other crazy people who are like, yeah, I did it.
Exactly. So we kind of hear, and I'll get into why they're suspected, obviously, but it's not going to be a good outcome. Okay. So the first one is...
Thanks for the warning.
You're welcome. The first one is Frank Jones. Oh, my voice did something weird. So the first one is Frank Jones. He was a local businessman.
Frank Jones. Sorry, I just had to.
Mike Jones. So he was a local businessman and a state senator.
Dirty politicians.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
So it got around that they did not like each other, Joe Moore and Frank Jones. Oh, God. I call him Frank Jones because I'm like, oh, God, I see Joe and then Jones. And it's like, meh.
Joe Jones.
Yeah, I got so confused.
Joe Jonas.
Like, oh, my God. It was so confusing. So,
which would make sense on maybe why he would have gone for the man first.
Well, yes. So, Joe had actually worked for Frank Jones, but ended up quitting due to some shitty hours. It was not a great place to work.
Okay.
And apparently Joe also took an important client with him when he left.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you build those big relationships with people.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I worked for a place recently that if he hired on a mechanic, they actually had to sign something that said if you're to leave, you cannot... If you start your own business, you're not to contact any of our customers.
Oh, yeah,
it's like stealing customers or whatever.
Yep.
So, there are actually people prevent against that nowadays, so.
You have to sign shit, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame the employers either because,
you don't want to lose that big client. Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's shitty if somebody be like, hey, I'll do this for cheaper over here, and you can just leave him, and it's like.
Oh, I'd
probably be like, okay, do it for cheaper.
And I can, don't tell anybody.
I'm a bargain shopper. I'm sorry.
I know. So am I.
I'm only middle class, guys.
Hey, you gotta...
Podcasting without monetization costs a lot of money. Just so y'all know, we mentioned it before.
Hashtag leave us reviews.
Hashtag let's get on TikTok.
We are on TikTok.
Yeah, we need to do stuff.
So, with this, Joe stealing the client, quitting, this really ruffled feathers with Frank Jones. And if that wasn't enough, a rumor had circulated that Joe Moore had been having an affair.
With Frank's wife.
No. With Donna. It's Dona, so I don't know if that's Donna or Donna.
In Italian, donna is a word, and...
I want to say Donna, but I'm going to. Donna Jones, Frank's own daughter-in-law.
Gross, okay. This old man has an affair with a younger woman, anyway. All right.
Well, Joe's 43. We don't know how old the daughter-in-law was.
I'm
or how old
half
Frank
age
Joe.
Least, so I'm assuming,
old. Yeah. Well, yeah, she did seem kind of
probably about 20-something, which, that's her own choice. The dad has no place in being pissed off.
Not even her dad biologically.
Right. So that's no place of his.
But
she's of age. She can do whatever.
If she's consenting, yeah.
He's the one that's having an affair. She is not. But
apparently at that time that was enough for murder. That was enough of a motive.
No, even now,
fucking murder. Yeah,
dad's coming out with a gun when they're trying to show the boy. Calm your toxic fucking male shit down, okay, Daddy.
I know.
I'm gonna do what I want anyway, so get the fuck away with this fucking gun, you toxic.
I know, right? Oh, let me take a prom picture with my gun.
It's so stupid.
Funny.
Oh, wow, that's great. You're threatening somebody else's child with murder.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's gonna make me feel great, Dad. Yeah.
Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that seemed like it could be a motive, but a lot of people questioned if Frank Jones could actually be physically able to commit these crimes.
Okay.
What happened with my voice?
It's just, we've been getting dramatic.
Crimes. So. Oh, God. Just wait till next week? Guys, pause. We're acting in a haunted house.
Oh, yeah, I was going to mention it at the end.
The month of October, so we're going to be...
Oh, shit, yeah.
Real bad.
We may be a little hoarse.
Next week.
A couple weeks. For the next couple weeks.
Well, yeah, but starting next week.
Yeah.
Because we are dress rehearsing this weekend for it, and we're just going to be screaming and yelling for...
And I also have a child that I've been working really hard at keeping a level voice with, so hopefully that won't be a double whammy.
I'm thinking about it, it's like... We record, by the time we record with tea and water.
Yeah, but you know how my voice is. It takes forever for it to come back.
Oh, I know, especially if I lose my voice.
When I lose my voice, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks.
Because I'm not stopping talking. They're like, oh, well, you can't talk.
There's no way. Did you see my report cards when I was a kid?
There's no way.
It definitely always said your daughter talks too much.
Oh, we were always in a freaking health class. Hey, girls.
Oh, that woman pissed me off during that one.
Well, it was the quartet right there. We had Josh, Colin, you, and I, and it was just, we were always fucking around talking in fucking 9th grade health class.
Geez.
Unless it came to boobies or anything like that.
Oh,
then it was like, fucking immature.
High school boys.
So, yeah, where'd that come from? So, yes, we're going to be probably...
Yeah, pay attention to our posts. We'll post some things, maybe us getting ready, and then you guys should, if you're local, go to the haunted house. It's the Twisted Tales of Horror off Route 36, going towards Hornell. I said going towards
Hornell. We can never talk. What are we talking about?
In the back of Fitzpatrick's Farms. So, yeah, go there. We'll scare the pants off you.
Only Friday
night.
And
I will laugh in your face after.
Yes,
Just kidding.
Yes, maybe. We'll see.
We're really excited, so.
So, yes. So, back to the episodes. The affair seemed like it could have been a motive, but a lot of people questioned if he could physically be able to commit these crimes.
Okay.
He was 57 years old.
Okay. So his daughter might have actually been more like 30-something.
See? That's what I'm saying. He was a bit older, and you gotta have stamina for a killing like that.
Yeah.
Especially with the bludgeoning. Like the boom, boom, boom. Like,
yeah,
I'm tired after 3.
People. And then not only that, but then just wandering around for the next 5 hours, or for the next probably, I'd assume bludgeoning for that long took about 2 hours of his time. So, 3 more hours.
Yeah. Who knows if he paused in between or what he was doing in between. He might not have been like boom, 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 boom. We don't really know a timeline.
Right.
So, yes. So they were like, maybe he couldn't do it. But that didn't completely rule him out.
It sucks there were no witnesses watching. Like, if somebody... if only this neighbor saw somebody going in and out of the house. But no.
No
one saw a person.
No one saw anything. And there is a theory that he was like, went in the home earlier while they were in church and waited in the attic. Yeah. Because there's like this little tiny attic. And they thought, oh, well, maybe he hid in there. And then there's also theories that he was just kind of hanging out like behind the house, maybe in the shed.
Well, by the time they got home from church, it was 9:30. Even in summertime, you're already getting pretty dark.
Yeah. But even... There's a theory that, someone followed them home from church and then started watching them from there. And then once they went to bed, found his opportunity.
Why the fuck this family?
So there is a theory that maybe Frank Jones, had hired someone named William Mansfield. William Mansfield. I had to go with it.
That name sounds so familiar.
William Mansfield to kill the Moores.
Okay.
The theory quickly falls apart. Mansfield had an airtight alibi for the night the murders occurred, but they definitely were like, this could happen. Mm-hmm. This guy's got money. He's a senator, local business owner. He did not like Moore. Maybe he took him out. Mm-hmm. But why take out the entire family and the 2 little girls who had nothing to do with anything?
That's what I was going to say. That's awfully risky for a senator to just not pick off the one person you have an issue with.
And it's more to the fact that, like, maybe if he did it himself, it would have just been Joe. Yeah. But maybe because he hired somebody, maybe this guy was just violent and crazy and was like, well, go big or go home. Oh, God, I can't believe I just said that. But, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. Another suspect was Reverend Lynn George Jacqueline Kelly.
Okay, so that's a lot of female names. Was it a female reverend?
It was not.
Of course.
And I want to say that I do talk about the killer a lot with he pronouns.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
We only assume because as we know,
crime is very...
Well, bludgeoning people like that takes a lot.
Yes, exactly.
It takes a lot. And I even pictured a big man doing it.
But it very well could have been. Who knows? We do not know. This is pretty unsolved if you guys hadn't guessed yet.
The mom looks so nice and eccentric. I don't know why, but her face looks like I would be her friend.
They just look like a nice family.
They do.
They don't... I never found anything in Joe... I mean, if he was having an affair...
I mean, a lot of men
That's
do.
That's shitty, but at that time...
That doesn't mean he should have been murdered.
Exactly.
I mean, that means he should have gotten a divorce. That's all that means.
Yes. So, yes, the Reverend. I just call him Reverend Kelly. He's got way too many names going on.
Okay, I was going to say, if you keep saying the Reverend, I'm just going to think of The Walking Dead. So.
No. So...
That's definitely who I'm picturing, too, right now.
Wasn't the Reverend Kimmy Schmidt, too?
Yeah, they called him the Reverend, I believe, yeah.
Good fucking Lord. So, he did not live in Villisca, but he happened to be in town the night of the murders.
Was he the one doing the church ceremony that they were at?
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
He also boarded a train out of Villisca in the early morning hours of June 10th.
Early morning hours? Well, it would have to have been after 5.
Well, yes, but it was between when the bodies were discovered and when they feel like the killer would have left.
Ew. Oh my God, he looks like a mad messed up. He looks like he's a shrunken-headed William Dafoe or something. Willem Dafoe. What in the world?
So another piece of evidence. I know he's ooky looking.
You guys can see all these photos on the blog, by the way.
Yes. So another piece of evidence against Reverend Kelly was that he was left-handed. And according to the blood spatter evidence and the trajectory of the spatter, they believed the killer had swung left-handed. Now, I did a side goog.
Okay.
Because I was like, they use spatter, but then there's also blood splatter. And I wanted to kind of break that down because there is a difference.
Okay.
You can't just say blood splatter. There is a difference. So spatter is small and like microscopic dots of the blood, and then the splatter is those really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dexter's job there. Yeah.
Which is weird because I feel like there would be a ton of splatter. With how like the death.
Yeah, I would assume.
Maybe it was more the killer was covered.
I mean, it could just be also because they were laying in bed, so maybe the only thing that came was the spatter from the axe
itself. Yeah,
you know, mostly the bed took all the
probably, and him.
Yeah,
probably. So, yeah, that was something that they were like, we believe the killer will be left-handed.
He looks like such a small man. I wonder what he looked like in real life. Like he looks. Like you said, he looks like he's got a shrunken face.
No, he looks very little.
Like he's a small person.
Very little. Yeah, I don't...
Ew, he creeps me out. I can't stop staring at him, but he creeped me out.
So, Kelly had also been seen attending the same church event as the Moores the night before.
Okay.
So, I don't think he was, like,
a stranger
presiding over it or anything.
Okay.
I think he literally was just in town maybe for this event.
Yeah.
I'm not sure past that, but, or maybe he was just in town and he's like, oh, there's a church event. I'll just go to that.
Yeah.
There's also, I mean, he was known as a sexual deviant, so it could have also been like, this is a Children's Day event. The Reverend, yeah.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. So, as you can see in the picture, the Reverend was really strange. He'd been caught peeping in people's windows, and like I said, you know, before, he was a sexual deviant.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. I'm just not surprised at all. That's sad, isn't it?
Now, this part is kind of... I don't know. We'll get into it. And then I want your opinion. So, neighbors speculated that Kelly may have become obsessed with the Moores, and more so maybe the Moore children. During the search, like, he was kind of watching them during the service, kind of, you know, eyeing out who he wanted. But that there's going to be a wrench in that. So
there was no signs of sexual assault.
No. And we'll get into that. So apparently they thought that he followed him home that night. He watched from outside, and then they went to bed. That's when he went in.
Yeah.
Now, sexual assault was never found in this case.
Yeah, I mean, they were just found bludgeoned.
Well, poor Lena was found with, like, her dress up and over her head, and her underwear was missing. Okay. But they never found actual evidence of an assault happening to her. And I don't know about the underwear thing, but he was covering their heads, so it was probably just convenient. She was wearing her night dress. He probably just, you know... quickly covered up her head.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe she didn't wear underwear to bed. Who knows?
Maybe she peed the bed.
Yeah.
And wanted to hide the underwear because she got scared she was going to get in trouble. You're staying at somebody else's house and you just wet the bed. You don't know. You don't know the circumstances of everyday life. Mm-mm. So, yeah. So we can't say like, oh, well, he was a sexual deviant, so he did it.
I mean, it could have been that he murdered the first girl and then did sexually assault her because they were the last ones. Nobody would have heard it happening. And so he could have done it then and then murdered her. So he could have bludgeoned the first girl.
Yeah, but there was no signs. You would see sexual assault.
I mean, not unless you did a rape kit.
No, there's like if she is a virgin, there are clear signs of a rape.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, sexual assault.
I understand that, but they said no signs. But did they actually? You know,
that I don't know. I don't know if that technology, I mean, they probably could have known if there was a substance that went inside of the cavity. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think it's as, you know, to the point where you can test the DNA and do all of that, but there were no signs of sexual assault at the scene. Okay. So, Kelly looks good, but you can't just look at him because of the sexual deviant aspect. Yeah. Now, the evidence against him wasn't looking good either. Apparently, shortly after the murders, Kelly apparently sent bloody clothes to be laundered. Mm-hmm. Okay. Dumbass. There was also a couple on the train that morning when he left Villisca, and they stated that Kelly told them, quote, murders had been committed in Villisca, end quote. So, that could be a clear confession, but then again, Sometimes witnesses aren't the most reliable. We'll never know. So on top of this, Kelly actually confessed to the murders.
What?
He wrote a confession, and he stated he killed the children upstairs first, and then the ones downstairs last, and that God had wanted him to do it.
How would he have, unless they leaked all this to the public, how would he have known the layout? And how,
that's the thing is everybody was in the house.
Yeah, but how does he know the layout of the house, where people were sleeping? You know, like he took care of everybody upstairs first and then went downstairs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everyone went into this house. Every single neighbor in this town went into this house.
So you think he just
They went into the bedroom. Well, he leaves town, and then I guess a few weeks later he came back and was like, "Oh, I'm going to help the investigation."
I was going to say, because he left town early that morning, so...
No, he comes back into town, and he's like, "Oh, I want to help out with the investigation," which we do know now, hindsight, killers do that.
Yeah.
So it's also a thing against him, but it's also a way that he could know the ins and outs.
Okay.
Because, yes, everybody, it was probably in the papers, upstairs, downstairs, guest bed, everyone fucking knew.
Jeez, okay.
Probably. Because the media...
Because that's the one thing I would question, is, okay,
how does he know?
Right.
Yes.
That would seem like, okay, that seems like a credible...
Even if they weren't writing about it, you go into the local fucking coffee shop and you're going to fucking hear about...
Well, since they let everybody and their mom...
Exactly! No. That's what's wrong with this fucking case. So, with the confession and Kelly's impeding trial, you may think, great, solved, bad man got locked away. No. The case against Kelly falls through very quickly. He recants his confession. The older couple also changed their story.
What?
Yeah. I don't know what they changed it to, but it was said that they completely... And they probably... with witnesses, that's the problem. They'll say one thing, and then the story changes, and then the story... It's so hard. But him recanting, there's nothing they can do. That's what they needed. That was the only real evidence. They didn't have evidence. So if they had the confession, they could at least be like, all right, we're good to go. This obviously sowed doubts in the minds of jurors. It ended up being a hung jury.
Oh my God.
And a hung jury, for those that don't know, just means that basically all the jurors could not agree on a verdict. You basically have to have a unanimous verdict. Mm-hmm. Watch or read 12 Angry Men. We had to in high school. And it has to be unanimous. So they just could not. It was 11-1. And they just could not sway this one person.
The law enforcement should have looked into his hometown and see if any other murders had occurred anywhere else where this guy had...
They're not going to fucking do that.
Of course not. It's too much work.
But wait, we'll get into that. So this obviously means Kelly walked free, and the Villisca axe murder case remains unsolved.
Wow.
Now, there's one last suspect I want to touch on.
Okay.
And his name is Henry Lee Moore.
Okay, so a relative.
No relation.
All right, I was going to say, because it seems quite personal.
Yeah, no, sense. In all that I read about him being a suspect, he was not a relation to the Moores.
Huh.
It was just coincidental.
Wow.
That his last name was Moore.
Pretty damn coincidental.
So, and this guy, so he's written as a suspect, but they said that it's really unlikely that he did it. Because it was just basically conjecture, and them being like, oh, he did this, so he's got to do this, this, and this. You know, it was kind of just, he was kind of tied loosely. But it brings up a very important fact. The Moore family was not the only axe murder case which occurred during this time.
In the area?
So there had actually been a lot in the Midwest, actually, that whole area. And it was between 1911 and 1912.
Huh.
There was like a span of axe murders.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they all bore striking similarities to the Villisca case. So it wasn't just like, random axe murders. They all kind of had little bits and pieces that matched each other, such as how the bodies were covered with sheets. That seems like, what, modus operandi, is that the right word? Maybe not signature, maybe. Yeah, but it seems very personal. It's not something that every killer who's doing an axe murder would do, you wouldn't think.
Yeah, for sure. Because
covering the victim is very personal, and I think it means, like, there's something behind it. You're not just covering it to cover it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had meaning behind it.
Unless he's just psycho and was like, oh, if I cover this, nobody will know what happened.
No, I doubt that. I think it probably had something to do. And it could have also been the fact that he didn't want to look at the heads anymore as he was walking around the house.
Yeah.
So it definitely, I think, with that, maybe the same person had done all of these.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like it.
Right? So naturally, many assume that it had to be the work of a serial killer. That term was not coined back in this time. I'm just using it because I know it. They definitely did not be like, oh, we have a serial killer on the loose. So that didn't come till like 1960. Only a few months, so this is how we're going to tie in Henry Lee Moore. Only a few months after the Villisca murders, Henry Lee Moore had been convicted of murdering his own mother and grandmother with an axe.
Good God.
And so with him being arrested for this, and the fact that he was reported as very violent, many just assumed that he was responsible for all of the killings and that Villisca was probably in with those. So it was just a serial killer, Henry Lee, and
he just found this family that randomly he wanted to pick off.
Well, that's what he was doing. It was all over. It was in Kansas and Villisca, and it was all over. It was random. They were just axe murders.
Okay.
And they all had weird similarities to what we see in Villisca.
I wonder if those ones if the killer had lingered.
I don't know. And that's the thing, is that could probably be its own episode, and it might be in the future.
Yeah.
Like, I want to look into these murders from 1911 to 1912 in the Midwest just to see if we could tie them back.
I mean, you said it's axe murder month.
Ooh.
Might have to do that for your next one.
Shit, maybe we gotta change it up. That would be sick. Yeah, maybe. So, who knows, really? I mean, he was never legally tied to the case. I think it was everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
This came out, and then, the super sleuths of the world, like we have now, the internet sleuths, it's always been a thing. So, who knows? Unfortunately, he was never, of course, officially tied, and it was all left sort of a mystery.
Did he die in prison, I wonder?
I
didn't
didn't
do any axe murder that he committed on his grandma.
I didn't do any more research on Henry Lee.
Yeah, I bet you he probably got the death penalty.
I mean, for that death, yeah. And he was, like, proven to be, so
he probably.
Or just, if the death penalty went away, he definitely probably just died. And who knows?
Prison.
Who knows where he ended up? Maybe he went to fucking Leavenworth, because it was the Midwest. And he did,
And it was that time period. Everybody went to Leavenworth.
Who the fuck knows? So, yeah. Was it the rival, the strange reverend, or the work of a violent serial killer?
I think the reverend is a violent serial killer.
We'll probably never know.
That's what I think happened. I think it's just too weird. All the things are just
I
too
feel
weird
like the
with him.
reverend was the best,
Yeah.
Suspect.
Mm-hmm.
And he almost went down for it.
Yeah. And the fact that he left town, he lived somewhere else, it's very possible that he was doing all the others. If he didn't live in Villisca, it could have been that he was just traveling around as a reverend, visiting church services and then following the parishioners home.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I
for some reason think it was that creepy fucking guy. But
I don't think that all of the other murders were like children. I don't know if there were if it was he always killed parents and children. But I think it was just random kind of axe murders that they started tying together.
If you do research it more, we find that there are always children involved.
That'll
be another thing that points to kind of he had a sexual deviance with children.
Sometimes, if we look at sexual deviance and those serial killers that have that inside of them, a lot of them don't penetrate.
Mm-hmm.
They have a sexual dysfunction where they need to torture somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he was the entire time pleasing himself because that was the only way that he could find sexual satisfaction.
Yeah, that
it happens very often.
Right.
BTK.
Yep. Or I guess they would also see that too. I was going to say he could have committed sodomy if he can't, Yeah,
he probably would have, yeah.
But they would have found that.
But yeah, a lot of the times, with BTK, I don't think he was actually assaulting them. He would strangle them, and that's what he
would get off on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that was... I feel like there are many serial killers with sexual deviance.
It's like 101 right there.
Especially, they would either do it after they were dead or...
Yep.
I mean, look at what Kemper was doing to the heads and stuff, and like... Yeah, so...
Yeah, I mean, even, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. I know.
Wanted something that wasn't necessarily alive, but not necessarily dead.
Yeah, a zombie.
Yeah,
fucking
literally.
Crazy guy.
So, hey guys, don't go anywhere. This episode is not done yet.
Okay.
Like I said in the beginning, it's a 2-parter.
Oh boy, we got haunted stuff coming.
We do.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot on the internet.
Oh, okay. Well, it's all right. We'll still listen.
Okay, good. Given the horrific murder of 8, which occurred inside these walls, it's no surprise that the Villisca house is thought to be very, very haunted.
Not a surprise at all. Mm-mm. That's stuff that is trapped forever.
The original house is still standing.
Okay.
And it's open to the public.
Awesome.
You can visit during the day for a tour, or stay the night for a private investigation.
Snoop-a-doop. You know where we should be headed.
A private investigation is $428.
Holy. That's still expensive.
But not as bad.
Yeah, I guess.
They're usually like $700-800 because you have you need 8 people to go. $428, $500, that ain't bad at all.
That ain't bad if I didn't already spend $400 on this podcast this year already.
Well, no, I'm not saying we're gonna go this year, but that's not bad.
I mean, I guess it's not. I just feel like it shouldn't even be that much. That's still ridiculous. Of course,
but you're getting you're shutting the house down for yourself.
Yeah.
So even if you got 3 people,
they only let people do it during the day anyway. So what do you mean? You can either do a daytime tour or a private. Not everybody's going to be doing a private nighttime tour. So usually this place is only doing daytime tours.
No, a lot of people do shut down in it. I saw a lot of different articles about people investigating and locking down. A lot of the stories come from those people, not the people doing the daytime tours.
I understand, but I still feel like there's not as many people at all. I mean, they're not doing this every single night. So there's no reason they're not missing out on money. It's money they wouldn't have had anyway.
It's true.
That's what bothers me about it, because people are interested. This is how I've always been. If you own a business, you charge less for your shit, you get the same amount of people coming in, if not more, then you will make up your profits anyway.
I do agree. I personally feel like that I've looked at private investigations.
Yeah, Rolling Hills is always expensive.
And I feel like this is cheaper than a lot of the ones that I did see. And it feels more doable, because those you look and you're just like, we don't have a group of 10. We're not going to be able to fucking afford this. And this, you, me, and Kayla,
and could afford it. The trip to Iowa and the hotel, unless we camp, which...
Melissa lives in Iowa.
Who knows how far away from freaking...
Melissa, we're coming. Iowa's not the smallest state, but it's not the biggest state either. Yeah. So it couldn't be too bad. But it's not terrible. But yes, it is said to be very haunted. And most reports are that, when you walk in, it's heavy and it's fucking sad.
Oh God, I could imagine. I can already feel how it would.
And there are pictures of the children up around, and there's they decorated it in the style of the early 1900s.
Yeah, authentic.
Kids' rooms look like kids' rooms. It's very sad.
I'm surprised anybody even lived there after that happened.
I didn't look and see who lived there, but it probably, I'm sure people lived there before it was opened as an establishment like this.
That's crazy. I was going to say, because if nobody did live there, then it possibly that it could be even just the way that the kids' bedrooms were before.
Yeah. No, I think they did restyle it.
Yeah.
But then again, who knows? People were very interested in the mysticism back then, especially in the early 1900s.
Oh, yeah.
So it could have even been a fucking tourist attraction back then.
Yeah, I mean, the spiritual movement started in the 18 freaking something.
Yeah. So who knows? I didn't really see who lived in it. I just know that it is open now and you can go. They also say you feel like you're being watched all the time. There are eyes on you no matter where you go. There's just this feeling of being followed and watched.
They probably are they now are hyper aware of intruders, and they think everybody who comes in is an intruder.
That's exactly what I thought.
To hurt them.
Yep. So they're following everybody around. Yep.
I wouldn't blame them if they were angry spirits that would tell people to get the fuck out.
I mean, it's
Because,
your home and
look
you were
at how they were murdered.
viciously murdered.
Yeah, and your children and your children's friends. I mean, somebody else's children.
They're probably super protected.
Yeah, I'd be a very mean spirit to the living.
Yeah. So, yes, even if you are alone, you aren't really alone. If you go up to the second floor of the home, you can actually see gashes in the walls from where the axe hit.
I'm surprised previous owners didn't even fix that.
I know.
Crazy.
I know. Because as he was following through, remember, he's using the blunt side of the axe.
Yeah.
So the sharp side of the axe had hit, and then he brought it back down.
Yeah.
So, yes, you can see those actual gashes. I do have a picture that'll be on the blog. It's fucking...
That's crazy.
That's just the energy of something like that still existing.
Yeah.
That imprint of just...
I am so surprised that was not filled in.
I know.
By now. If people did live in it, phew, crazy.
But that's what makes me think, like, the macabre of everybody forever and all time.
It's probably the guy who took the piece of skull that fucking moved in there.
He probably bought the house and was like, come on, guys, come see the gashes from the axe that killed the family of 8.
Jesus Christ.
Good Lord.
Step right up, get your peanuts.
Oh, no, because that was really the time. They were fucking making money off a lot of bad
sideshows
shit.
and shit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, great. Anyway, some other activity that occurs are objects moving on their own. And also falling off of shelves. So things will just move around. They'll be falling down. That would give me a startle. You know, sitting there.
Especially if there's no cats in the house.
Exactly. No cat.
No.
Well, actually, in the Destination Fear episode, a cat did come in the house.
Like a real cat came in the house?
Yes, a real cat. They don't know how it got in the house, but they were up in the bedroom doing like an EVP or some type of session. And they're like, oh my God, do you hear footsteps? And then this cat just jumped on Dakota's lap. Yeah, I don't know how they let it outside, but it somehow got in the house, and it was a very friendly cat.
That seems weird to me.
Very, very friendly.
Oh, but we're supposed to think that absolutely no one else is in these houses now, that somehow something got in. Great. Contamination at its finest.
That cat, yeah, definitely 100% contamination.
Christ. Oh, a cat somehow got in, but there's nobody else in the house with us. Come on.
Well, we'll just have to do our own.
Supposed to be goddamn lock-ins. I know.
So, after that, you do hear footsteps above you. So, a lot of times it'll come from the attic. It'll come from the bedrooms, wooden floors, and things like that. And many investigators have even captured EVPs of children's voices.
Kids' stuff is always eerie.
Uh-huh.
Always. It's eerie as hell.
Always. And you got 6 of them that perished terribly in that home. So, yeah.
Those poor little other girls are probably stranded away from their families because their spirits are stuck there. They can't even go and greet their families when they passed on because they're stuck. Isn't that awful?
It is. It is.
Rest in peace.
Anyway, that is really all I have for the haunted
that was a good
section.
Episode.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely want to stay the night here.
Yeah.
I think it would be one of the ones that I would be very scared of.
I think I would I don't know about scared.
I would be very anxious before. Yeah, I would just be very
the feeling that you already, I can already feel the feeling I would feel when I would walk into that place. Yep. And it's just...
And then the fact that
it's heavy and daunting.
Who knows who is still there?
Yeah.
The killer could be attracted to there. Mm-hmm. You just don't know. Mm-hmm. And
by now that person is definitely dead.
Mm-hmm. And it's such a violent energy that took place there. So you never know. You never know what can happen.
Even demons can be, attracted to that type of negative energy. So
yeah. So yes, maybe if we do get in there, maybe we can find out who actually did this and make it not unsolved.
Yeah, and we would actually lock down.
Make it solved.
Nobody would be in there with us.
Hopefully.
But anyways, yeah. it's not like we haven't caught significant EVPs in the past. So
exactly.
I have faith that we could do it.
If we're at the Villisca Axe House and can pay that expensive $500, hopefully we'll have
better equipment,
good equipment too. A spirit box.
Snoop, extra equipment, I should say, because
our equipment's good.
Was awesome.
Yeah.
It caught.
I just want more.
Oh,
I want
the
spirit
absolutely.
box. If I could get an Oculus, if I could get a whole bunch of different fucking shit,
yeah, for sure,
I would totally do it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that is the Villisca Axe murder.
If you'd like to donate to our paranormal Snoop cause so we could get some equipment, that's fine. You can donate $1 each.
How?
And that'll help.
How would they do that?
We'll get a Venmo.
Okay, I was going to say we don't even have a Venmo or anything.
You can Facebook pay us through Messenger.
Oh God, there you go. We're asking for money now, guys. Anyway, until next time, make sure to go follow us on the socials. If you haven't heard yet, we are on TikTok. So make sure to go follow us on there at More Than Murder Pod. We definitely want all of you to see the stuff that we got coming up. So we have a video on there, so go give that love. And then
yes,
also go follow us on Facebook at
More Than Murder,
Twitter at
More Than _murder,
and Insta at
More Than Murder Pod.
Yes.
I'm surprised because I was totally dissociating and zoning out for
I know.
a second, and
I know.
still somehow...
Because I literally started and I was like, oh,
you
God,
saw my
is she
face?
gonna know that I'm at this part yet? Because I kind of changed my I had to change things around a little bit.
Yeah. So no, like, you saw me dissociating and zoning out, and I'm like, oh, I said it perfectly. Whoa.
Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Search More Than Murder and hit the bell.
YouTube.
Yes, the YouTube. Also, if you want to help your girls out, leave us a review wherever you can do so. Those seriously help us out.
And when you guys share to your pages, like one of our most loyal listeners, Peggy has been doing...
The real MVP.
Shout out to Peggy. She's always sharing about us, always posting about us, and that's just awesome.
It is. When someone's
really
like, I need a
helps.
podcast, she's like, More Than Murder. I'm like, oh
my gosh.
thank you.
It really makes us feel so good. And it's
because
not
no
even,
one does that.
No, it's not even monetary. Literally, just a simple share or recommending us literally makes us the happiest girls in the world.
We absolutely know that everyone is attached to their phone.
Yeah.
So 10 seconds out of that time to just hit share.
And you guys share such stupid memes all the time.
Yes.
Or you sit there bitching about random stuff. How about just share us really quick?
I know. It's so easy. Just 10 seconds out of your day. We're not asking for money. Although she did ask for donations.
I'm about to put up a Kickstarter or something. Okay. All right. This shit's expensive. And we like giving you content. So.
We do. We definitely don't want to stop due to monetary reasons. So if we could grow the podcast.
That's what we're trying to aim for.
That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to badger anybody. We just literally are like, share us out.
Right.
Leave us a review.
The only way we can get monetized without your guys' donations is if we get
more
ads
money.
and monetary things from other places, which we need more listeners and more shares for.
Exactly.
Which
so
is
your
why
shares
we ask for those.
will give us more listeners.
Yeah.
Like it's
reviews,
hard to get seen on the internet. You know, it's hard to, push yourself out there like that without spending a ton of money that we don't have. So...
And we, like Jenna said, we don't want to stop due to monetary issues, but we've already created 3 years down the road. If we're still not making money, it might be a little tough to swing the More Than Murder pod.
Exactly. So leave us reviews. We'd really appreciate it. We'll also, give you guys a shout out on the show. We will send you something, once we got our merch store up. All for a shout out.
We haven't made much merch yet because nobody really writes reviews, and
all our merch is going to be made to order anyway.
Right,
we're not making this huge stock of it.
We're not ordering anything.
On to it.
Yeah, it takes time and also money to make things.
Exactly.
So that's why we're not doing it just yet until we get people who are actively leaving reviews and things. We should make up some things for Peggy, honestly.
Yeah, hey Peggy, we'll make you something.
Yeah, don't let me forget because I still got to figure out stuff with my Cricut, but you'll get stuff.
Like we said, Peggy is sharing us out. She didn't even leave us a review on Apple, but we'll still shout her out because she is helping in her way.
Right.
So we're not saying well, I don't have Apple, I can't leave you a review, I won't get free stuff. Not true. Leave us a message.
You can recommend on Facebook.
You
can leave reviews on Audible. You can comment on YouTube. And when you share stuff out constantly, like Peggy does this almost every week, she'll either message me a picture of her listening, or she'll put it on Facebook, put it on her story. It's awesome. And then she just recommended it to somebody just yesterday.
Exactly. And word of mouth. If you're having a conversation, at work, and they're like, oh, I like podcasts.
Or I like true crime. Or do you like haunted things? Or,
exactly.
And any of you people, I know one of my friends just went to Rolling Hills. Well, have you guys, if you like paranormal, have you watched our Paranormal Snoop?
Yes, exactly.
And then share that because you obviously have friends that like that stuff. It's so helpful.
Exactly. So helpful. We can share it only just as much, you know, but when you share it goes to your friends, and then your friends can share it and it goes to their friends. And there's so many people that you can reach just by a simple share.
It's called networking.
It is. And that's what we need you to do.
Yes.
So just help us out. If you want to get in touch with us, you have any questions or anything like that, we do have an email. If you want to tell us an awesome paranormal story, or you're interested in being a guest on our bonus Windbag Wednesdays.
Windbag Wednesdays. We've only had one so far.
Yes, because we need guests.
Yep.
You can
need a windbag.
Send us an email at the Gmail, morethanmurderpod@gmail.com, or message us on any of the socials that you can message. I don't know if you can message on Twitter, but you can definitely slide into them DMs on Facebook and Instagram.
I know nothing about Twitter except for it looks like a mess whenever I get on there. It's not organized enough for me. It's just a lot.
Yeah, the news feed's weird. It's just...
Well, yeah, and people can only type so much, so they have to put like a million things. And it's like, no.
Why have a character limit? Like why have a fucking character limit?
It's because it's supposed to be just a tweet, a little message.
Yeah, but
then
it's
don't
not
put
going
your paragraph
to be
on there. Put it on Facebook instead.
Because what I like about Facebook is you have like the see more option.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have it being like 30,000 pages on your news feed.
Yeah.
If you want to read it all, go ahead. If you don't, scroll by.
Yeah.
So yes,
but anyways,
that went off the rails a little bit.
That's
okay. Thank you for listening. As always, we will be at you next week. Maybe Noelle will do Axe Murder again so we can keep the month alive.
No, you're doing I'm not. I'm doing Hinsdale House next, y'all. So we want to go there too. So.
Hey, maybe there was an Axe Murder at the Hinsdale House.
Hinsdale House, if you hear this, please let us know how much it is to private tour your place.
Oh yeah, I think you had to inquire like through an email or something.
So
I'll email them. Shit. I'll say, hey, I'm part of More Than Murder. And let us. So
maybe we can do a little bit of TikToks maybe about like getting our makeup ready. I don't know what our bosses at the haunted house will allow.
Yeah, we'll see what's allowed for the haunted house. But we definitely, you know what we're going to do?
What?
We are going to do a Windbag Wednesday after we're done.
Okay.
And just talk about the haunted house.
Okay.
Because I think it'd be interesting. I think people would like to hear about it. We've never scared before. We've been scared many times.
Yeah.
But we've never been scare actors. Yeah. So I think it would be interesting.
But we don't have a guest to be a windbag.
We don't need... No, they're just bonus... The bonus episodes are just Windbag Wednesdays. We don't necessarily need a guest.
Yeah, true.
It's nice to have a guest. But if we have other content that we feel is interesting and can make a bonus episode...
Sure.
Fuck it.
Okay.
So, we will see you next week. We love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.